Welcome to the tutorial on inverse of a matrix. The inverse of a matrix is represented as A inverse, where A corresponds to an M cross N matrix. We say an inverse exists if A into A inverse is equal to I, which corresponds to the identity matrix. Or we can also write this as A inverse A is equal to I. So a matrix will be called as a singular matrix if it is not invertible, and it will be termed as non-singular matrix if it is invertible. Let us look at some of the properties of inverse of a matrix. We have A inverse, the whole inverse is equal to the matrix A. The second property is, if there are two matrices A and B, the inverse of the product will be equal to B inverse into A inverse. Third property is A transpose, the whole inverse will be equal to A inverse, and then we take the transformation. So let us look at how we can determine if a matrix is invertible or not. So let me consider a matrix. Say matrix A is a square matrix with the elements of the matrix as A, B, C and D. This matrix is invertible if AD minus BC is not equal to 0. And the inverse of this matrix can be determined as 1 by AD minus BC into D minus B minus C into A. So if you observe here, what we have done is the diagonal elements that are there, they have been swapped. That is, these elements have been swapped, whereas the elements that are there in this diagonal, these elements have been assigned a negation sign. Now, before we solve this 2 cross 2 matrix, we need to always check if AD minus BC is equal to 0 or not equal to 0. Only then try to compute the inverse. If AD minus BC is equal to 0, then A is not invertible. Now what is this AD minus BC is? It is nothing but corresponding to the determinant A. So determinant A is equal to AD minus BC. So let me give you a problem and let's try to solve this. Find the inverse of A equal to 3, 4, 5, 6. So the first task for you before you find the inverse is just check if the inverse is possible or no. That is, to check if it is invertible or no. So let me compute the determinant first. So this is 18 minus 20, which is not equal to 0. That means this matrix is invertible. So A inverse can be determined. A inverse is equal to 1 divided by AD minus BC, D minus B minus CA. So this is equal to 1 divided by, the result of this is equal to minus 2. So let me swap the diagonal elements and also assign a negation sign accordingly. So this becomes 6 minus 4 minus 5, 3. So this is equal to minus 3, 2, 5 by 2 minus 3 by 2. Thank you. Stay tuned for more videos.